Hello everyone and welcome back to Efficient Gaming. Today we are looking at the sort of half pre-release version, although it does still look like they're doing quite a lot of changes to the re-patch of Witcher Monster Slayer number 1.2. So there was a huge uproar, the game's been down for days, and Spokko realized they've made a massive mistake from all the community backlash, and so they've invited some people to test, and finally, after 2 days, this morning, it was finally accepted for me to test. I will be submitting this video back to support because they've asked for screenshots or screen grabs of you playing the game. So this is my playing the game that I'm going to send to Spokko along with this video. So they should be watching this as part of the test. I'm going to send them the YouTube link rather than the direct link so they watch it on YouTube. So you've also got the opportunity for anything that I don't cover that you specifically want to mention and get across towards Spokko. Mention in the comments below, because there is a chance. I'm not going to promise they'll read it. I'm not even going to promise they're going to watch my video, but there's a chance that if they watch it, then they will read your comment. So it's worth getting that below if there's something that I don't cover that you think you want to make a specific point about. Alright, there have been a few changes, and we're going to run through it like we did before and look at things and just talk about it generally. So first off, character. Now, this is something that is something I was going to say was too easy before. Leveling up from level 39 to 40 was only 90-something thousand XP, and if I really tried, I could probably do that in a couple of hours. So this is a bit better. The XP progression has stabilized a little bit more. This is still less than the 700 and something thousand that it was to level up from level 39 to 40 previously, but it is more in line with, I guess, what they're going for. It's definitely not too low now. It's somewhat acceptable. Now, I personally wouldn't mind, apart from the fact that there's a bunch of people already at level 40, if this was increased even further. I wouldn't consider that a real problem. Now, part of the reason for that is games like Pokemon Go had a ridiculously high level cap to get to level 40, and then again to get to level 50, and people still did it. People still work towards that. I think leveling up is something that people look forward and want to work towards. Now, increasing this would also go well with their gems and actually monetizing buying things like experience scroll strategy, which we'll get to in a minute in the shop. But yeah, I think this could comfortably be increased quite a bit more, but then it does disadvantage everyone who isn't already level 40 and sort of gives a massive advantage to those who are level 40. So my only other potential suggestion for things like that is to, if the game did actually count the XP that you got once you got to level 40, you could retroactively work out where people are supposed to be and put them there. Now, my first gripe with this is I was level 39 previously, and I was at least, if not more, halfway to 40 before the update. Now, all my entire progress of that was wiped. Now, if I was halfway before when it was 700,000, I would be well over halfway now at 525,000. So that's going to be a point of contention for a lot of players. Their progress towards the next level is just being completely wiped. We'll talk about some other things that I think they should do with a potential reset later, but with these numbers being a lot more inline, no one's going to sort of automatically level up, and if they do, great, it's a bonus for them, but you shouldn't have wiped everyone's progress towards the next level. Okay, let's look at the swords first. All of the swords I've checked already still do what they said they were going to and what they are supposed to do. So 30% cooldown reduction for the Manticore series. Dawnbringer still does 10% extra at night. Your Witcher Steel Sword does nothing. The Chaos Morhen was the, if you had played the game pre-launch or downloaded it within launch week, you get the Chaos Morhen Steel Sword, which is a free version of the Base Sword for Steel, which only gives 10% experience gain, but it's still something. That's all the swords that I own. I can't comment as to whether any of the other ones have changed because you can't see them in the shop anymore. All of the armor is still the same like before, except for Manticore, which has completely changed because they've completely changed the alchemy system, and this was already extremely overpowered before, so they had to do something to bring it in line. Now, I do like what they've done with it, although it doesn't really seem to provide any advantages over what we had before with the previous combat system, and I'll get to that again as well in a minute, because I'm using the Manticore armor and combat seems a little bit more like it was before. So that's, again, all the armors that I own. The path hasn't changed. You still need bag space to claim the things. It still won't let you overfill your bag space. Your abilities, I don't really see the point of seeing these, because you knew what they, if you played the game, you knew what they were before. It's not like any of these are actual active things. You just sort of get access to them as they appear. So I'm not going to go through those. They're all the same as before. The path appears to be the same as before. I haven't claimed any more of these things because I still have no bag space. Let's talk about bag space. Now, this is one thing that I think we really need as witchers. You want to walk into a fight prepared. Especially with the new alchemy system, you need to have potions stored up so that you can go out and fight, and you don't have to go out, all right, now I'm going to spend an hour or two creating some potions so I can actually defeat some of these monsters. You need more than 1,000 bag space. Now, 1,000 was great to begin with, although I still felt limited even with that, because I can only hold, now this is more than I would normally hold because my bag space is full. I would like to hold about 20 of each potion all the time. Now, I'm overfilled with that because I claimed a few of the path chests before, so they've overfilled my initial requirement. But I like having bag space. Now, make us pay for it. Make us pay for it in gold. Make us pay for it in gems. Personally, I don't care. I just want the option to be able to purchase more bag space. At the very minimum, double what it is now. So 2,000 or 3,000 or 4,000, anything would be better than the 1,000 that we've got. I would really appreciate 2,000 plus. If you want to make it scaling so it gets more expensive as you go up, then okay. I don't really think that's a good model, but we need the ability to purchase more bag space, in my opinion. I hope everyone else feels the same way as well. Okay, what shall we look at next? The Bestiary. Right, this is something that has changed if you were looking at my videos from previously. When you claimed this, what you got was 5 gold per claim. Now you get 20 gold per claim, and this is a reliable way, if you were out on the map, to consistently make gold. For every monster you kill that's common, which you can now kill without alchemy. They have made that change. We'll get to that further in a minute. For every monster you kill, it equates to approximately 2 gold, because every 10 monsters you kill get you 20. It won't add up to that exactly until you've killed 10 of one monster, but it equates roughly to 2 gold per monster killed, which is an interesting new way of getting free gold to the players. This one has changed significantly. I believe this one was gold before as well. Either that or it was a hell of a lot less gems than it is now. So now, for every bunch of monsters you've killed, up to the first, I think this one goes to 7, yep, you get 5 gems every single time you claim it. So every 7 monsters that I kill now, I'm going to have gotten 5 gems. I'm not claiming them all at the moment. Legendaries are different again. You will get 10 gems for every single one of these that you complete. What else? Right, so that's changed, and I think that's definitely changed for the better. Let us look at the potions, and we'll discuss what I think about that. So the way we, what we do to create potions has changed slightly as well. Right, Thunderbolt. The potions themselves haven't changed. This is still 200% melee damage that lasts for 5 minutes, but the requirements to craft it have gone down. It used to cost 2 white gold. Now it is only 1 white gold, which is a little bit more in line with where I feel that it should be. Although personally, I think a potion as important as Thunderbolt maybe could lose the white gold requirement. I feel that it's probably necessary to be there on all of the other potions, but Thunderbolt is the potion that no matter what you're fighting, if you're putting a potion on, you're probably going to put a Thunderbolt on. So it's something that they could consider dropping the white gold requirement for. I don't think it's an absolute must because of all the other different ways there are to get gold, and it seems a lot more fair now, but it's something that I could go either way on it. It's just a suggestion. It's not a you must drop the white gold requirement on this. The rest of the things I think are fairly alright, although I haven't actually been able to test how much powdered monster tissue or roots that you get from picking stuff up on the map, because I'm not about to delete any of the potions or scrolls or things that I've got, and I just have no bag space. So this is why bag space is so important. Like, even for me to test, I need more bag space to be able to pick stuff up off the map. I did manage to do a Nemeton before, although because there is something other than a common monster in it, it did require potions to do, but I did successfully do that. Shall we have a very quick look at the combat system now? So this is yeah, my bag's full, I am aware. So this is a generic, basic common monster. There's a little change to the way these monsters are represented now. Common monsters have no skull over their heads. Rare monsters like that Beanchy over there have normal white with orange tipped skull around their heads, and we can't see any at the moment, but legendaries have this same skull, although it has a red outline on it, so it's more defined as a legendary. It does make it a bit harder to distinguish than it did before. I still don't see why there's no reason why they couldn't put a second skull up there, even if they do still make it red. So like 1 skull for those and 2 skulls for the legendaries, it would be fine. But anyway, let us fight this harpy just so you can see the difference from before when I got owned by every single monster on the map to now. No potions active. We're going to use Melith because it's fast. And oh no, we're not going to use Melith. We're going to use Incandescent Heart because it's fast and it's steel. Right. Let's do this first and then I'll give my comments on it. So my first favourite part of this combat is that they went back to the way it was before. The attack timings, how often the monster hits you, and to a lesser extent, the amount that you charge the critical bar per hit is similar to what it was before. Now, part of the reason why that's similar to what it was before is because I've got my Manticore armor on. But I kind of feel that's alright, because at least it gives you an option for having the system similar to how it was before. Because a lot of us have spent a lot of time learning attack timings, learning and developing strategies for how to chain attacks and things together to be able to defeat the monsters without using potions. Now, personally, I think that fight was a little bit too easy for a common monster. Now, I have no problems with them increasing the difficulty of the game, but it needs to be to a certain level. So we're just going to fight this rock troll now, and as you can see, it's not really dealing that much damage to me. I mean, even if I let it hit me, it's still kind of alright. I don't mind the game being a little bit more difficult, but this is just... I feel that these monsters are now too easy. Now, don't let that... You could easily double their health, I think, and it would still be an alright fight. Because if I do another one, let's just do this Necker over here. That one's silver, so we're going to use Melith. You could easily double their health, because if you look, a quite good fight from me with nice parries and attacks leaves you with maybe less than 10% of your health missing and the monster dead. And it was quite quick. So they could definitely make these monsters a little bit stronger, and I don't think anyone would particularly complain. Right, let's move on to rare monsters. Fast attack silver, so we're still going to be using Melith, especially with the fire damage as well. So if we look at this one, still no alchemy. Now, that was me doing a perfect parry, and I still took about, I don't know, a third, just less than a third of my health in damage. Now, you still can chain abilities to avoid damage, but you still don't get anywhere near more than about half killing the monster if you fight really well. I've gotten slightly closer, but this monster is still unkillable without alchemy. Now, I don't have a problem if, in general, the monsters are more difficult. And I feel that the rare category is something that if you play really well, if you hit every crit, if you get every perfect parry, it is the monster that I think this is the breaking point. I think if you do it well enough, this is the monster that you should just be able to do without alchemy. So if you want to blaze through rare monsters quickly, or if you want to not have to redo a Nemeton or something like that, you will always apply some sort of potion. But if you're dedicated enough and you try hard enough, then I think this is the monster where it is just at the tipping point, where if you do it perfectly, you should be able to defeat it without alchemy, and if not, or anyone who's not that way inclined, who can't manage to do the perfects, they should be able to use a potion and be able to defeat it with relative ease, I think. So that's just my opinion, and I think because of the frequency of how often we come across rare monsters and what they now give us in the gems, it's something that if you're a high enough level and you've got the skills and you're trying hard enough, maybe not at the low levels, maybe you should only be able to do it when you've got certain skills active, maybe you should only be able to do it above a certain level. But yeah, we need to be working towards the idea that a really skilled player of high level should, personally, in my opinion, be able to defeat this tier of monster, so rare monsters, without alchemy. I don't think it should be easy to do without alchemy. It should be an achievement if you manage to do it. That's my opinion. So before, in the game, we were killing legendaries all the time without alchemy. It was that easy when you were that skilled, and you could chain the attacks together and you timed them well. I definitely don't think that should be the case now. I think you definitely should have to use alchemy, and multiple alchemy, like multiple potions, before you are able to defeat a monster. So that's my opinion on those. I mean, let me just pop a Thunderbolt on now, and we will have another go at this monster just to see the difference in how we would be able to beat it. Now, this is still going to be close, I think, because we only just got over halfway of this monster before, and now even with a Thunderbolt, I'm facing the possibility that I might not defeat it, which I have not, because I got hit just that once. So, if anything, I don't think you should lower its HP, potentially its damage output, because it's just so much more than the previous tier that it's unbearable. Like, and I thought there's no legendary monsters around now for me to demonstrate this on, but when I play tested this earlier, there were a couple of legendary monsters around, and they actually didn't feel any more difficult than the rare monsters, because I had the potions on because I needed to, and I don't really know what else to say. Like, the difference in fighting a common monster to a rare monster is absolutely ridiculous in my opinion. It's too much of a jump. The difference to fighting a rare monster to a legendary monster really didn't seem that different to me. Now, this monster is a little bit different in the fact that I accidentally let it hit me first, but because I chained together the attacks well, I was just able to defeat it. But this is with a potion. I think, again, and I'm reiterating a point that I've said before, I think we should be able to beat these, if done really well, without a potion. I don't know whether that's a change they will make, because obviously potion use is something that they definitely want to promote, and doing that would mean you'd have to use potions a lot less. But I still think it's only perfect or near perfect battles. Maybe you could like miss one parry or miss one critical and still be able to get it. But it's not something that necessarily the mass of all players will be able to achieve. So, and not something that I can achieve all the time either. So if I get annoyed enough with it, maybe I'll just stick that potion on. If I've had 2 or 3 goes at it and I can't do it, maybe I'll just stick that potion on. It needs to be close, but not easy, but not impossible to do without potions. As I said, legendaries didn't seem that different from rares to me, so I think you could easily increase the difficulty of them again. So if I fight a legendary, I think of it maybe like a difficult Nemeton. You might want to put on a Thunderbolt potion and a Swift potion, and you might want to also put on the oil for the type of monster that you're fighting, because it's a legendary. You don't come across them that often. When you kill 7 of them, you get 10 crystals, which are the premium currency. It's not problematic to expect to have to do that. But I can't stress enough how much better the return to this combat system is from the other one. It was just so frustrating before, coming into the game and having the monster attack me like every 2 seconds before I'd even had a chance to build up a crit, and it was just so different from before. So the biggest and best change that I think they've made so far is a return to the previous attack timings and chain ability of abilities for defeating monsters. Is my Thunderbolt still on? Yes, it is. Let's give this Kalidas a go. This is another rare monster, but notoriously this one was a bit difficult to defeat before. Okay, we haven't gotten too bad. It looks like we might have half a chance of beating this one. Okay, and we did. We made a mistake and we defeated it. But that was with a potion. We did only make 1 mistake, really. Or maybe 2. I didn't perfectly parry twice. But I think these monsters are still just a little bit too difficult. The jump from basic to rare is a bit much. I think the jump from rare to legendary should be more. And I think the jump from... Well, I think the common monsters are too easy. I think the rare monsters are too hard. And I think the legendary monsters aren't hard enough. They're not too easy, but then they could easily be more difficult to defeat without people complaining. In my opinion, I don't mind legendary monsters that are hard to beat. That's kind of the point. They're a legendary monster. You don't come across them particularly often, and they should be difficult to beat. It's a legendary monster. Alright, what else shall we look at? Let's take a look at the potions again, because this is something I feel I should also bring up. Now, if you look at these things from previous events, they've all got a time of 10 minutes. So the love note, the perfume, the chocolates, the gingerbread cookies, everything from all the previous events is 10 minutes. Yet, when they made the new potions, they decided to make them all 5 minutes. 5 minutes is not a huge amount of time. It's quite limiting. If you're going to be attempting or actually trying to kill more than one monster, or like 5 minutes is not a really big amount of game time. If the potions were to last for 10 minutes, I think again, people would have a lot less problem paying to create them. So let's talk about the new economy. So the new economy has us killing monsters, and for every 10 monsters we kill, we get 20 gold. Roughly. Doesn't matter what 10 of those common monsters they are, we get 20 gold. If we navigate to the shop now, they've changed the price and the pack size for certain things. So I do really wish I knew what currency these needed to be purchased in, or how much they were, because it would give me more insight into how the game is, but because I already own this set, I have no clue. But we'll go back to this. So these have gotten considerably more expensive. I don't think these were anywhere near this much before, but I never bought any, so I'm not sure. I mean, I know for a fact a range scroll used to cost 80 gold. You can't buy it with gold anymore. You can buy it with gems. I don't see that as too much of a problem, because there are ways to get gems for free in the game now by killing the rare and legendary monsters. And ideally, the gold income is to help you buy these things. So these are the required ingredients now for crafting any potion. Any potion requires 1 white gold. So for 200 gold or 20 gold each, you can make a potion. These ones are for the oils. So oils are more specific to each class of monster. It's more useful in a Nemeton, or when there's, I don't know, potentially a monster week on and there's lots of those monsters around. An oil will be good for that. Now again, the oils I feel could probably last for 10 minutes quite easily, or maybe even 15, without ruining the, I don't know, type of thing that Spokko's trying to go for. So these ones would be 40 gold each, dividing 200 by 5, to create a oil. So let's just very quickly go and look at the recipes for those. So it's pretty similar to how it was before. No, I want formulas. Thunderbolt, you need 1 white gold, 8 powdered monster tissue and a root. Swallow, 1 white gold, 6 powdered monster tissue and 4 bundle of herbs. Swift, 1 white gold, 8 powdered monster tissue and 1 root. Petrie's filter is 6 and 1. Cat, 10 and 2. The rest of the ingredients don't really matter because they're reasonably easily accessible. Necrophage oil, you actually require less monster remains to craft these now, but presumably they've also nerfed the monster remains drops. So that probably doesn't really change it. But you need the bear fat. So each oil that you create is going to cost you 40 gold, and each potion that you create is going to cost you 20 gold. So they're exactly the same. It's just the different remains of different monsters are required. So bait is something that is both new to the game and old to the game. Anyone who was present in the beta knows about bait. They knew about specific bait. Universal bait was what everything was converted into upon launch. and specific bait, which I can show you even though I'm not level 40. So you unlock the formula to create specific bait at level 40. I've still got these from the pre-beta, although I had actually started to go through a couple of the different types that I've got, and I'd reduced those down to 0, which is a bit disappointing. But you can craft bait now, and to craft bait you need linen cloth and certain remains of monsters and roots. To craft universal bait you need linen cloth, powdered monster tissue, and roots. Quite a lot of powdered monster tissue. So to craft a bait, the minimum in-game shop requirement that you are going to have is our linen cloth costs, come on, where are we? 200. So it's going to cost you 100 gold minimum to have the ability to craft a bait, because it only requires 1 linen cloth and you get 2 for 200 gold. Yeah. I don't really have a problem with that. I didn't use the baits a lot. The baits are to attract higher, hopefully they make the baits more guaranteed now to attract rare or legendary monsters to Nemetons. But that's what they're for. I used baits previously when grinding XP. I haven't actually released my XP grinding video yet because it was done not long before they made these changes, and so it is pretty much redundant now. I might still release it just for the strategy, because technically it hasn't changed that much. In fact, it might even be a little bit easier now, but more expensive. So that's that. Right, what have we not talked about? So the combat system is better. I think the balance needs to be adjusted. Common monsters need to be more difficult. Rare monsters need to be easier, and legendary monsters could be more difficult without any problems. Again, in my opinion, we definitely 100% need the ability to buy more bag space. Like, it's so limiting having 1,000. Like, ridiculously limiting. Oh, look, there's a... oh my god, I think this is... monsters/names/siren melusine. I think, yes. I think this one is our monster of the week. This is literally the first one I've seen while playing the game. So it's probably an echidna. So let's try and do one of these time tasks. Gather some monster powder tissue. That's not going to happen. Kill 10 monsters from the hybrid class using hybrid oil. We can do that. Kill one without using signs. That's going to be difficult. At least 3 perfect parries and at least 3 perfect critical hits. So let's try and do that. We're going to use a oil. We're going to use just about everything on this one. Right, so we're going to use a Thunderbolt, yes. We're going to use a Swift, yes. We're going to use a Swallow, yes. And we are going to use a hybrid oil, yes. So we want to be using the Melith Sword. 3 perfect parries and 3 critical hits. Oh look, they have made a change. They've made the oils last for 10 minutes. If they do that with the potions as well, I think it'll be a bit more balanced or acceptable. Alright, yeah, this is definitely a new monster. Okay, we didn't take too much damage. Wow, we are dealing a lot of damage to it. So let's just practice our perfect parries. Oh, definitely don't use any signs. Is that 3? Alright, now let's try and get some perfect crits. I don't know if I quite made 3. I probably didn't. But yeah, that was our first echidna. I don't know if it's going to tell me the name of it. No, it is not, because that's still broken, but... yay! New monster defeated. Monsters/names/sirens and... we did manage to kill it without using signs, but we didn't get... my inventory is full. See, this is a massive, massive problem with the game. You can't do anything when your inventory is full. We just don't have enough inventory space. So if I get one point across, it needs to be that one. Allow us to buy more inventory space. Right, see, now that was a legendary monster. Now, I did use quite a few potions, yes, but it was not that difficult to defeat. I spent more time parrying unnecessarily. I didn't get perfect parries the whole time, and I was able to just stop and wait for it to attack a few times, and we still managed to defeat it. So this is why I think the legendaries can stand to be a bit more difficult. I mean, we should probably use a little bit more of our potions on monsters before they run out, because otherwise it feels like a bit of a waste. I need to double check what all of these potions do again, because I seem to be taking quite a bit less damage. Now, I only increased my health by 70%, but when these things hit me before, I'd lose like half of my health, so the difference is not equivalent. So let's just double check. I already know what a Thunderbolt potion does. A Swallow potion, yeah, regenerates 1% of the maximum number of health points. Now that one almost feels like it doesn't do anything. That is something that could probably stand to be buffed. The only time I really used it before was when I had my Manticore armor on, and I would use a Swift and a Swallow potion. So my health would go from normal health to 200% health, plus I would get 2% of the maximum health points regen every second. Now that was reasonable health regen at that point. 1% of less than double is not really that great. I mean, this would be another good potion to use when defeating more difficult monsters, but the rest situational at best. The oils are good, and it is nice that they have added an effect for other monsters on them. It makes you feel like less of a waste if you're just using it to kill one monster. Is there anything else I wanted to go over? I still don't know whether restricting your ability to buy only a certain set of swords every week is the best way to do it. It was quite frustrating during the beta when you could only buy one piece of armor or something every week. But they fixed that when they released the game, and when the game was released, you could buy whatever you want at any point in time. Oh yeah, we haven't looked at the exchange rate. So obviously, if you exchange gold to crystals or crystals to gold, you get the same exchange rate. So 50 crystals will get you 1,000 gold, and 1,000 gold will get you 50 crystals. So let's just do one of these and see that it works. So 71,000 is going to go to 70,000, and I should get 2411. Yep. And presumably we can trade them back as well at the same rate. Yeah, cool. So at the moment you can freely exchange. I don't think they're going to keep this around forever, but it is still there and it is good. But because I don't know I'll probably exchange quite a bit of my gold while this is available, but I don't know. I assume the equipment is going to end up costing gems, but I don't know. And gems seem better for buying things overall, but you do still need gold for certain things. So how do I know what to convert? The two currencies is a little bit more frustrating, but I understand why they've done it, and it's a little bit more of an accepted change now. You do get a little bit less gold for your money now. If you were to purchase things before, I think you got about 70,000 gold for about $100. Now it works out to the equivalent of about 56,600 or something along those lines. I did some basic maths earlier. It is cool that you can buy root and bundles of herbs in the shop, but I think you should maybe have the option to buy it with gems or gold. Again, these are just my opinions to allow most people access to the game, because ideally this is designed as a free-to-play game. So you need to still be able to play it and achieve everything that you need to achieve while not necessarily spending money. I was originally going to criticize the fact that They had reduced the XP requirement to level up, but they've increased it again, so that's fine. It just sucks for everyone that already had progress to the next level, which has been reset. Some progress, obviously, a lot more than others. No one else more than at 39 to 40, like me. Alright, are we running out of things to say? I did the Nemeton. The Nemeton was fine. I don't mind the requirement for having to use a potion to do a Nemeton. That's kind of expected. Don't have a problem with that. Daily tasks. Like, they're... I was going to say they're still giving away too much gold, but they've increased the price and made it necessary to buy certain things now, so it's not really giving away too much gold. What else? Is there anything else in here? We talked about the Bestiary, we looked at our character, we talked about the potions, we talked about times for things. Yeah, I think I have now covered everything that I wanted to cover in talking about combat, talking about the economy system. If we're going to talk about things like time tasks, you definitely need to make the echidnas appear more often. As soon as the update was released, I went down, oh, they've changed that as well. Right. This 85 gems used to be 500 gold. So they've adjusted that as well. Oh, they've also put some bombs in here. Ah, that was the last thing I wanted to mention. People want the ability to be able to purchase, craft bombs. Now, there's two ways you can do this without making it so that you have to spend currency on, spend your gems directly on bombs. So leave the bombs there, able to be purchased and made with currency, the gem currency. But also, you could include an ingredient like, so this is our white gold potion, this is some bear fat that you're going to use to make oils. Linen cloth is used to make baits, because that's what you wrap all the monster tissue up and what you lure the other monsters with. You could make something like gunpowder, purchasable in the shop. Now, it doesn't need to be cheap. Make it the difference that it's cheaper to buy it with gems, fine. But people are still going to want the opportunity to be able to craft it. So I think you need to make a basic component. So reintroduce the crafting recipe for it. Make them difficult to craft. Make them long time to craft. Make them expensive to craft. With gold, it doesn't matter what you do. People won't mind as much as long as they've still got the opportunity to do it. I mean, you could make it like 100 gold to buy each lot of gunpowder and need 1 gunpowder to make each bomb. But people will appreciate being able to craft them again, even if it is difficult and ultimately will be easier to spend the gems on them. I don't know what you're calling your other currency, by the way. There's no way to tell. Oh, crystals. Okay, I've been calling them gems. Alright, now I think I've covered everything. Okay, this is an add-in edit because I forgot to talk about this before talking about everything else. If it is at all possible for Spokko to do a account status grab just before they started their maintenance to do the update to 1.2, that would allow them to solve things like, for anyone who had already logged in post-update and claimed everything for gold, that would be solved. It would mean that people could potentially keep their progress towards the next level with XP, because it might not be completely wiped. It's something else that I think the community would greatly appreciate, so I just wanted to add this in here before I finish. Obviously, like I said before, leave a note in the comments below if there's something that you want covered that I have not covered, or you want something brought attention to, because hopefully, fingers crossed, Spokko will be watching this video, they'll take the feedback, and they'll make us a game that hopefully we're all going to enjoy a little bit better. No one's going to mind it being a little more difficult if there's a good reason behind it and the jump hasn't been absolutely ridiculous. So thank you all for watching, and we'll catch you soon whenever there's more news to report. So see ya.